You're watching Mohawk TV's special presentation of Candidates Night for the 2012 Mohawk Council of Kahnawake elections.
I guess the incumbent goes first to give away the secrets. I'd like to acknowledge the elder, for doing the opening this evening. I'd also like to congratulate the existing council for the work that they've done over the past 3 years. It's been quite a challenge. I think everyone knows who I am, but in case you don't, my dad was Mike DeLille Sr., my mom is Grace Hemlock, I'm married to Terry Horn. We have 3 mostly great children most of the time. Another challenge that's always presented to a father. Tonight, I think, is more about what needs to happen in the future than what's happened in the past. I realize that we face many challenges. A lot of the issues have been discussed tonight. There'll be, I'm sure, lots of questions. There's been a couple pointed toward me, and I'll be willing to address those as we move forward in the evening. But I want to address a couple of things. Someone mentioned earlier that it's become disunified here in the community. We see it as council, we hear it, we hear about it. I'm not a Facebooker, but we read about it and things are forwarded to us. And I think it's gone beyond being ununified, disunified, or whatever else. It's becoming about hatred. And that's not who we are as a people. That's not who we're supposed to be. And I hope in the future it ends. It's not about a personality. It's not about a person. It's about the job that that person is doing. I don't take things personally, but my family does. And it's not right. It's not about being fair, because as a public official, you open yourself up to that, and I completely understand and appreciate that. But I think as Kahnawake, as someone who lives here, as someone who lived here their whole life and continues to have the passion to do what's right for this community, I don't think it's right. Not talking again about fairness. My dad told me a long time ago that don't look for fairness because it doesn't exist. I tell my children that, and they give me that usual face, sometimes even in a text with a long mouth and the 2 little eyes. But it's just disheartening. And I think, again, that's why I'm congratulating the existing council, because I've been here for maybe what some people feel is too long of a time. First elected on council in 1998, elected as Grand Chief in 2004. But times have changed, and I won't say essentially for the better. I think the challenges that this past council, and probably the 2 previous councils as well, have faced have been more daunting than things in the past. We're still blamed for the Seaway. Granted, broad shoulders will take the responsibility. Funding issues continue to be an issue for everyone. I'm not going to talk to you tonight about cutbacks and so on. It's a reality. Lloyd mentioned earlier the existence of for the first time, long time, majority government, and I don't call them conservatives, I call them reformists. And to me, the difference is that they are what I guess you could consider rednecks in Canadian political society. They'll do everything to ensure that, never mind Kahnawake or Kahnawake or the Mohawk Nation, First Nations rights are extinguished as quickly as possible. I don't believe it's ever going to happen here. I think we're much stronger than that. I think we need to be more unified. I believe that we need to have as much focus, if not more so, and try to set priorities for this community. We spend a lot more time putting out fires, criticizing each other, and bringing that hatred to a new level versus actually spending the amount of time necessary to deal with, whether it be taxation, whether it be the scenery of Sault Ste. Louis, 300-year-old grievance, lots of issues, and I've seen and heard, I think most of them that have been forwarded to me as the lead negotiator on it, criticized, slow, a lot of other things that have and have not happened at the table. Maybe I take too many of the traits from my mother in terms of patience and others. Maybe I need to be more aggressive in terms of some of the things my dad would do or would say. And I still miss that type of approach and some of the words that you'd share with me. But I think we do listen to the community. I believe that the community does have council's interest and vice versa in mind when it comes forward. But I'm here tonight to send that message. I would like to see that we maybe not become unified. We're not unified at the table, and I think that's healthy. We need to have debate, healthy debate, respectful, constructive debate in and around the community, and I don't see that happening. I hope I'm not the only one sweating in here. But we've tried many different things. We see it happen at community meetings. We see it happen at the council table. We see it happen in public forums, whether it be this one or other ones that we participate in the community. And again, I don't think it's healthy. I think we need to be able to look at who we are, what we believe in, and try and do the best for this community. That's why I'm here. I believe that everybody that sits on council presently has the same mindset. I believe that the people that are looking to become and our candidates today and tonight have the same type of mindset as well. But without that collective interest in mind, and I think that's another thing that's been missing, a lot of individual goals, aspirations, and manipulation, I'll even call it, comes into play at time when people step forward, groups of people step forward with council and say, you have to do this. Well, we'd like to do everything, I think, that people come forward with in terms of council. And I'm not going to say it's impossible, but it's nearly impossible. You could ask the incumbents who are sitting here, you can ask staff who deal with a lot of the intake, and the community's demands are huge. And I think I'm still up for that type of challenge and the future challenges that come to this community. I'd like to wish everyone here not only good health, but good luck in the upcoming election. It's not only about that respect factor that's been missing, and I can talk about individual files, but I think those will come in the questions. I'm prepared to defend the decisions that we've made in the past 3 years, and for myself beyond that. I don't second guess. I take into collaboration and consideration everything that's said at the table and in and around the community. I think we do hear the voice, but it's a lot of that individual aspect and determination and demands that I think burden the rest of the community with the allotment of time that goes into every file that we do. I'd like to see a lot more progression on seniority for one, but several of the files that we deal with, QKR and KCR that we're dealing with Quebec and Canada with right now, but it's very difficult again, dealing with the criticism first and foremost, and still wanting to be able to go to work every day with the same passion that you carry. I'll address the rest of them through the questions as well. Like I said, I've been the chief for the last 8 years. I want to do so even further. I still carry that passion with me. I want to wish everybody, as the incumbents and the candidates, good luck. I want to wish Barry good luck, but I can't because I still want to do this work. It's not about a job, it's about a responsibility, and I think I carry it well. Yamgo.
Gwe, Kahnawake O'Donoghue, Barry Alfred. I'm running for Grand Chief for this community. I don't want to spend so much time on introduction of family members. Some people got cut off short by doing so, a 5-minute allot time. Reason I'm here, obviously, I have many ideas. I've sat on council from 2000 to 2002. I ran for Grand Chief in 2002. I have ideas that where the community needs to be heading for the future. There was a lot of stuff that came out of the past speakers on different files. Like Lloyd mentioned about a drug task force. Well, one of the things I'm concerned about is us creating a police state in Kahnawake. But if there is problems, as Bobby had said, in the drug side of it too. And that leads me to a little story I want to tell you. I just can't remember who told me it. It was by an elder. There was this woman that used to wash her clothes at the riverside every morning with her kids. And this one morning when she went to the river, she brought her kids along, and as they got to the river, she noticed the kids went in the water to play a little bit, and there was bodies floating down the river. There were young kids and teenagers. They were floating. They were drowned. The kids yelled at their mom, "Ma, let's help them. We got to help them here. Let's get them out of the water." The mother says to her kids, "Leave them be. We need to go upriver and find out where is this problem and why we have this problem that our kids are drowned in." So the moral of the story is we need to find out what's the matter with our system here. Where's our problems that we have with the outside governments? why they're not recognizing our rights. We have the right as Kahnawake and Agwahumwe people to develop an economy that is ours. We have to have our own economy. Not an economy that's shoved down our throats from an outside entity. We have to have that. I've said on the radio the other day, when you go to negotiate with anyone, there's two sides of the negotiation table. One side has the power, which I view as Canada and Quebec, because they have the purse strings. Kahnawake is sitting on the left side here. We're dependent on those purse strings, and at the same time, we want to negotiate with those two governments. So if you look at it in that perspective, the two governments are looking at us. We're in a very weak position to go to negotiation tables. And that's why a lot of these files I get dragged on to a certain extent. We are not in a strong position to negotiate because they have all the purse strings, which we will never let them off the hook. That they have to have that money that is allotted to us. That's our rights. But what I'm saying to you is, we need to develop our own economy. When we have our economy and learn how to feed ourselves again, economically wise. We were a strong nation at one point. We used to trade, our ancestors traded furs and everything else. We were strong as a people. Then we came into the Indian Act and we became weak and dependent on the system that's on us. We need to stand up as a community and look at an economy that can sustain us as we move forward, which would help us in our negotiations in the future with these governments that are encroaching on our rights that belong to us. The very right that we really should have our own economy from any other jurisdiction or any other government. That is very important, and I just don't see that progress happening since I got out of office in 2002. Yeah, there's files that are moving around, but they're just like going here, going there. There's little progress. Why are we not looking at it as an economic stimulation here in Kahnawake to put our people back to work? We have industries that are hurting. One of them, tobacco industry, is hurting. Somebody brought it up, there's 600 people that working in that industry. Well, there's probably not 600 people working today because of that. There's problems there. That's a big economy that's been the backbone of this community for a long time. We need to look at that. We need to address that and find that common ground that is an economy that should belong to us. And we need to push that outside governments to say, this is what we want. This is our economy. We have a right to live and to feed ourselves. We're proud people. It's time that we feed ourselves. It's time that we negotiate with a strong position. We can accomplish that while we develop our economy. We talked about, there's comments here of small businesses. Small businesses make up a lot of big businesses. There's medium-sized businesses. And there's big businesses. Our people want to work. We don't want to be dependent. We want to work. And that's what we have to be striving for here as a community. Feed ourselves. It's about time we take that step and start to feed ourselves. We have all this stuff that's been put on our territory. The seaway, the bridgeways, the railways, the hydroways. They put assets on our territory. They've encroached us with highways. What do we have? They've valued our property now. They've raised it to a level that they didn't understand by putting all those assets on our property. Use it as leverage in negotiations. That's what they gave us. They gave us these tools. Use it against them. Somebody brought up the lease at Kahnawake. Use the lease against them. Back in the 70s, my father ran for consul. And that's when that lease was up too. And he preached that. Don't sign that lease back. Why? Well, in the future, if we're going to utilize some of the assets that's on our territory, we may use a certain lease against them as an economic development idea. And it doesn't necessarily mean that we have to lease it out to somebody from Quebec or Canada. There's a lot of economic development ideas out there. I would like to promote the council table to be more user-friendly to our local business entrepreneurs who have tremendous ideas, but get looked at in a different fashion when those ideas are brought to the table. We talk about doing business with our local businesses. That's what has to happen. If a non-native person comes here with a business opportunity or a project, we look at it differently. Somebody from Kahnawake shows up with something, doesn't get looked at that seriously. Why? Because there's a lot, this is one of our downfalls as a people, jealousy. We do not want to see anybody get ahead. We have to stop. If somebody has a business and he's going to employ 10 people or he's going to employ 20 people, that's 20 more people that's going to work in Kahnawake. If we got 10 businesses like that, do the math. We're starting to feed ourselves. That is very, very important. Why I'm up here today. I truly believe that is the only way we're going to be moving forward, is to learn how to feed ourselves economically. It's very, very important at this stage to gain that power back in any negotiation that we're going to be moving forward with.
1 minute, Barry.
So come July 7th, I'll wish Mike good luck. I know, and I like to wish everyone who's running for a seat at the council table. I'll say this, I've been here before. It takes a lot of courage for every individual that has their name on the ballot. And I appreciate your courage to be put on that ballot. I look forward for everybody participating on July 7th. And don't be scared of change. Just be scared. Don't be scared of change, and look forward to move forward in new endeavors. On.
Kanya ke haga thadi adraste kayerniga hiadu zewaderoru.